Hi everyone, I'm Raja Palomino with Houston Media Source. For 12 years, the Houston Asian American Pacific Islander Film Fest has brought to the city of Houston the essence of the Asian American Pacific Islander experience. The OCA, a national organization promoting the social, political, and economic advancements of Asian Americans, does so to the city every year. What you're about to see are some of the highlights from the film festival that ran from June 9th through the 18th. Hey everyone, I'm here at the Houston Asian American Pacific Islander Film Festival with actor, producer, and writer Chris Din. Chris actually has a film called Crush the Skull 1 and 2, and you also collaborated with various skits in a feature film. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So tell us a little bit about your film, Crush the Skull.
So, Crush the Skull is a horror comedy, and it's about a group of robbers who break into a cabin in the woods, and it turns out that it's actually the home of a serial killer. Uh, they're then stuck in the house. When he comes home, it becomes like this really crazy game of cat and mouse as they try to like figure out how to get out and how to get away from him. That's about it. Yeah, but it sounds scary, but it's also a comedy as well. So that's like been our thing for the past couple of years. Viet and I, my co-writer and the director, and we like scary, we like funny, and it's our attempts at putting it together.
Well, it also produced a sequel, Crush the Skull 2, so tell us about that.
Well, the most confusing thing about this whole thing, about the name of the movie, is that we had two short films. The short film was called Crush the Skull, the original one, and then we had Crush the Skull 2, which was the follow-up to that short film, which gave us like the momentum. It gave us the momentum to make the feature film, and we're calling the feature film Crush the Skull as well, so that's why it's very confusing. So Crush the Skull, the feature film, which is what's playing at this film festival, is the feature film version of the short films. Yeah.
That's good to know. And after covering so many different types of festivals, you know, this is the first I had heard of in this festival. What makes this festival, in your mind, stand out compared to like the others?
Well, I think what's cool about small community-driven film festivals is that the films that bigger festivals don't program and don't play, uh, you can. That's like the gap that these smaller film festivals fill in for us. You know, um, let's say the Houston International Film Festival only has so many slots, and they may not be able to program films that maybe you or I would be interested in. But that's what's great about having these smaller community-driven film festivals is that they fill in those gaps. It creates a community. It creates a place where we can tell the stories that matter to our communities, no matter what community you feel like you belong to or are interested in exploring. So they're it stands out to me because this is kind of like, also the director is from Texas. He's a Texas native, and he wasn't able to make it. But there is a community where we can share stories, no matter if the mainstream is sharing them or not. That's why these are important. Yeah.
Well, tell us about some of your projects coming up in the near future.
Uh, there's another film that I'm acting in. It's called Comfort, and it just started its festival run. It's directed by William Liu and my co-star in it, Julie Zahn, who is a YouTuber. This is her first feature film, and we've been friends. We did it together. It's kind of got a little bit more of a romantic vibe to it, and that's going to start up pretty much this year. They're going to try to hit up as many cities as possible. And then on the writing side, I'm writing a project for Vietnam, and then I just collaborated with a film with Justin Chan, a small indie. So a couple of writing projects going on, but in terms of on-screen, Comfort is the next thing that you may or may not hear about. You may not even hear about it. It's a very small film, but hopefully you will.
How's work?
Slow and steady. You know, I'm just cruising the streets.
Life for courier.
There you go.
This nocturnal lifestyle, it's just not good for your health. How's everything?
The usual. Just chugging along.
But you're doing okay? Cameron, I really want you to look into treatments.
I guess there's a reason why they call it the graveyard shift.
I got you a run. Bam.
Oh, Martin, you're giving Tabasco and Sriracha a run for their money.
That's the idea.
The dude pays. And he pays well.
My daughter, she's coming into town tonight. She's gonna help me run the empire.
I can pick her up for you.
I'm Cameron.
You're the guy my dad hired? Aren't you supposed to be in a suit?
You work mostly nights?
Sunset to sunrise.
Whoa. You're basically nocturnal. Like a vampire.
Your dad's a cool guy.
Yeah. The hot sauce king of SoCal. Where are you?
Well, time's been all the way around. It's kind of a perfect storm with all these events.
The only way my dad knows how to express love is through dollar signs.
Take her someplace she likes. Not your little overpriced, stupid food trucks.
I like trying out different places.
Any favorites?
Hole in the walls, mom and pop places. Yeah, it'd be great to open up a food truck.
Really?
The idea is to serve comfort food.
Can we watch an awesome sunrise?
Why do I have a feeling that you're avoiding your father?
I'll go home. Eventually.
I can't come in tonight.
You're not playing hooky with Jasmine, are you?
You just met Cameron, right? You would be pissed if I told you.
What is going on?
I have a condition.
How long have you had this condition?
All my life.
I'm just worried about you.
Where are you?
I think it was a mistake trying to see you this time.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, keeping a father away from his daughter.
She was right.
There's an emergency at the office. I gotta go.
You can only express your love in dollar signs.
Can we just enjoy the next few hours together?
What time's your flight?
It's early.
You two gonna just run away together and live happily ever after. He leaves in a few hours, okay? Why prolong that picnic?
You're gonna be some famous food truck entrepreneur. I'll be a distant memory.
And I'm here with local filmmaker, writer, producer, and animator Sharad Patel. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks. Good to be here. Good to win a prize.
Yeah, and on that note, he just won the Grand Jury Prize for Lotus, a local film here, and we also just saw 3 shorts. The first one was Ritual Echoes of North Korea, Lotus, and The Bubble. So let's talk about Ritual Echoes of North Korea. Tell us about that.
So Ritual Echoes of North Korea is what I would call a mini documentary or a micro documentary about artist David Chung, who's a painter that teaches at the University of Michigan, and he was doing an installation at the Institute for Humanities, which has a gallery in one of the buildings on campus, and the School of Art and Design hired me through the institute to just document him making this installation. And normally, what they do is they just interview the artist, and then they show a few clips of them making something. But I decided, since I come from a narrative film background and animation and things like that, to make something that was more just sort of like visual. And so, even though I interviewed him, I think I only used like 2 or 3 sentences, and that didn't even talk about the work. And then I shot all this footage of them making the sculpture and moving it, and and the opening, and I just sort of cut it all together, almost like a music video, like it just flows from beginning to end. So it's more impressionistic than a normal documentary. There's not much information, and what I really like is then I did all the music for it. It's original music that I composed and recorded and mixed. for the piece. It was music for the piece. So, yeah.
So on that note, aside from like directing and composing this music and piecing it together, tell us about the whole process. Like, was a lot of the footage from North Korea done by you, or was that footage you already had?
Okay, so there's footage at the beginning of something called the Mass Games, and David Chung took that footage. So I haven't been to North Korea, but he went and snuck a camcorder into the stadium and took the footage of, these huge assemblies and formations and dance things happening on this, bigger than football field, type area. And then he snuck that footage out, and he gave me the tape. It was a DV tape, and I just kind of combed through it and just used a few seconds here and there that worked for the edit. So, and then at the very beginning, when you actually see the famous tower that has the torch at the top, those were actually still photos, and I animated them. I animated the still photos to make it look like video footage, so it's not even actually video footage. So I added birds flying by, camera shake. There's one. I make it look like a helicopter's flying by it at night. It's all fake. So yeah, you can see I drifted away from a straight documentary for sure.
So with all of that creativity that you put behind this work, how is it that they got in touch with you? Was it information or a film that they saw of your work before?
Well, there was an artist in residence there at the university, Chris Sperandio, who actually teaches at Rice, who saw past work I did. He was just hanging out, and he saw work I did and had me do a documentary about his art project at the university. And then I think the university was so happy with how that turned out that then they hired me to do this thing with David Chung.
Awesome, right on. So let's talk about the Grand Jury Prize film that you worked on, Lotus. Tell us about that.
Okay, so Lotus is a collaboration between me and painter Shiva Amati. And she was teaching, I think, part-time at the University of Michigan, and she now teaches at a university in California. I'm not sure which one. But she's a painter, and she came to me with the idea that she wanted to try animation, which is becoming a popular thing in art shows and in institutions. And she had seen how other painters, I guess, had made the transition from, works of art that are stills to video, and she wanted to try it. And she had no idea how, but she got into contact with me, and I sort of auditioned, to be her animator for hire by taking one of the horses in her painting and animating it. And I added sound effects and everything, and she was impressed. So we decided to go forward with that, and we signed an agreement that I would work with her, and that 6 months later we would have finished piece that would actually be on display at the Asia Society Museum in New York. And so I worked for 6 months on animating that painting.
That is awesome. Right on. So now tell us about the bubble. I saw that concept. It was very interesting how the couple goes into the museum, and tell us a little bit about that process.
Okay. So the bubble, I was then hired by the University of Michigan Museum of Art to run a series of workshops along with Donald Harrison, who at that time, he had been the director of the Ann Arbor Film Festival, which is like one of the most respected art film festivals in the country, actually. And he had just, it had been their 50th anniversary, and he had resigned as president to pursue filmmaking. And one of the first gigs he got us, I partnered up with him, was to run a series of workshops where we invited like 15 filmmakers, some experienced, some not, just based on their applications and their essays that they wrote, like of all ages, all ethnicities, to come in and pick a work of art in the museum and make a short film that's inspired by it. It doesn't have to feature the work of art. It doesn't have to be about it. It could be whatever wherever their mind went, as long as they could somehow explain how that work of art inspired it. And then, of course, we made our own. And so the bubble was my own piece that was inspired by a tiny sculpture that was on display, in the museum. And that's another piece that I made solo, except for the two actors. I did everything. So, but it was a lot more simple than Lotus.
Exactly. So, being a local filmmaker here in Houston and being very creative, wearing many hats, well, what advice would you give somebody out there that's watching that might be a local from Houston?
Well, I mean, the advantage to wearing a lot of hats and making stuff is you learn a lot, and you're able to become valuable as a filmmaker, because you develop a skill set. But I would also say, and I do this, be part of a crew as well. Like, wear one hat and work with a team, because you need to network and make those connections to get to the bigger and better things. For example, right now I'm working on the short film Acid Test, and on that I'm the cinematographer and the editor. And it's turning out great, and it's also really fun to be outside of my own solitary bubble, because instead of working solo, shooting everything, editing, doing the sound myself, it's fun to be part of a team, and that's actually more traditional filmmaking, as being part of a team. But yeah, so I would encourage people to, not only try to learn a lot of different hats. Like, for example, I'm thinking about taking acting classes, not because I want to be an actor, but just to learn more about it, so that I can direct with more, more technique.
And I'm here with Stephen Wu, co-director of the Houston Asian American Pacific Islander Film Festival. And tell us how this all got started.
Sure. So the festival is organized by OCA Greater Houston. They're a nonprofit organization that strives for the social, political, and economic well-being for Asian Americans. And 12 years ago, our co-founder or founder, Debbie Chen, she wanted to promote media as an outlet for Asian Americans. And for the past 12 years, we've been trying to bring content that relates to our communities, things that people can really, see on the film on a big screen and say, you know what, I can understand that story, and try to make their lives a little better with that.
Absolutely. So, what have been some of the challenges as far as like organizing or getting the films to this film festival?
Yeah, money, I guess, is the biggest thing, in capital, trying to find good venues to host the festival, and just marketing in general. We're getting better with showing Asian American faces on the big screen, but I think a lot of the masses in Houston and in the country, they still are not fully comfortable enough yet to say, I want to go out and spend $5 to watch this Asian American actor play the lead role, and so we're trying to break that kind of stereotype and barrier.
Absolutely. And with today's event, for example, like one of the films, Lotus, Sharad Patel, a local filmmaker, won the Grand Jury Prize. So tell us how that all came about as far as like being in contact with someone like him.
Yeah, so we had a call for entries back in December last year, and Sharad, he wanted to enter his shorts. But funny enough, he entered into multiple other festivals, and I guess he just wanted to get his films out more in Houston. He is from Houston, so I think he's very prideful for that. And then we had 3 judges, one of them being one of our co-directors, Tanga Nguyen, and then other one is Sybil from Swamp, and then Christian from Q-Fest. So we try to get people who know film to judge the film, and then they did a really good job ranking them, and we just selected the winner.
Yeah, absolutely. And with those festivals you mentioned, like Q-Fest and others going on in Houston, what is it that you think sets this one apart as far as like content or film from others?
So while we're very similar in trying to share creative works, we also try to share social issues that are in our communities. So immigration, or let's say hate crime, or even racism. There's a lot of issues that filmmakers want to share with film and media. And I don't think all the other festivals do that per se, but we really wanted to shed some light on that certain topic because it's important to us. We face things every day, as uncomfortable as it is to hear, but it's real, and we want to be as real to our audience as possible.
Right. And what is in store for the next film festival?
Well, we still have one more day tomorrow with our closing arts night. So a bunch of performers, dancers, singers, or comedians are going to come out. But for next year, we're going to expand more. Hopefully, maybe have a student film festival contest as well. We just want to engage Houston more and draw in as much as we can from the people.
And I'm here at the HAAPIFF Film Festival with Tinga Nguyen, and she's going to tell us her role for the festival and when you first got involved.
Hi, my name is Tinga Nguyen. I've been involved with HAAPIFest since 2011. And my role is one of the co-directors for the film festival.
Awesome. And as one of the co-directors for the film festival, what are some of the changes you've seen from 2011 up until now?
Some of the changes I've seen since 2011 is that we actually have a more better structure and a more better branding for the film festival. We've had our logo made, a better website, and as a part of being with OCA, still being associated with OCA.
Okay, excellent. And as far as like the films that you show, what is involved in that process? Like, how do you decide what films you show and what you don't?
Well, this year we actually have two processes. One, we are searching for the films, and then we reach out to the directors, the filmmakers, whether producers or other people that are involved in the film itself, and then we would ask them, can we screen it? And they'll send us a screener link if we like it, and then we'll accept the film. And if the film fits within our mission, then we will accept the film. The second part is this year we actually started something new to our festival, which is a local shorts contest. And then that one, a lot of the filmmakers submitted their own films, and then we were able to showcase their films this year as well, and then give out a grand jury award.
Awesome. And so what do you look for in 2017?
Well, in 2017, we look forward to showcasing a lot more films, connecting the viewers with the directors and the producers in the films, and then just having a great time, getting a lot more volunteers involved, maybe more arts nights, more artistic things get involved with the festival, and more outreach.
Thank you for watching the 12th Annual Houston Asian American Pacific Islander Film Festival, highlighting 24 diverse features and shorts at Harmony Public Schools. Reporting for Houston Media Source, I'm Raja Palomino. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.